Hey, I'm Scott Cooper, the writer and the director of The Pale Blue Eye. And this is Harry Melling.
I play Edgar Allan Poe in The Pale Blue Eye.
And we're going to dissect a scene for you.
I am pleased to report I have successfully decoded your message.
This, of course, is one of the most important scenes in the picture. I think up to this point, we get a strong sense that Augustus Landor is amused by you, but he also thinks that you have a keen sense of observational skills that might make you an interesting and wonderful detective.
Yes.
And he wants you to help decode a message that was found crumpled in the rigor mortis hand of a cadet who was found hanged and the heart removed from his chest.
Handwritten, it is of a personal nature. Fry had it with him at the time of his death. From that, we may presume it was sufficient to draw him from his barracks on the night in question. As the rest of the message was torn from his hand, we may presume that the note in some way identified its sender. Now, the use of rather primitive black capitals would also indicate that the sender wished to disguise his identity. An invitation of sorts, or might we more accurately call it a trap?
A trap. This is a real introduction to Poe and his ability to deduce, but also to entertain us, but also for us to have an understanding of the way in which his poetic and romantic musings help build his character.
And that was a wonderful challenge because it allowed him to be charming, it allowed him to be funny, it allowed him to be both the smartest person in the room, but also the silliest. And that was a wonderful thing to play with as an actor because it was so contradictory and rich. And this, I'd say, is the first challenge that Landor, I think it is the first challenge that Landor gives to Poe. And so I think he's very keen to impress. I mean, he's keen to impress Landor from the off, but with this, a real opportunity to really show his worth and his intellect. Now, with that in mind, may I? Let's concentrate our labours on the third line, which we know for a fact is complete. B. But B what? Something that begins with L. Little? Lucky? No. Now the jabs with the invitation. Be lost? No. Too ungainly a construction. If in fact Leroy Fry's attendance was desired at a particular time and place, there is but one word. Late. B. Late. And as we scan the third line, the first word becomes almost insultingly simple to deduce don't. So, don't be late. When I first read the script, I found it a fantastic whodunit. The thriller element that runs through it was I thought, just incredibly exciting. But putting that against a landscape that was so rich and detailed, that was what truly got me really excited. And then putting this Edgar Allan Poe character in the middle of it and working out who is this man? Who is the man before the iconic, sort of darker Edgar Allan Poe that we think we all know? And all those things working in tandem was, it was a gift for an actor, really. Now look closely, Mr. Landor. We need not journey far for a suitable candidate. If Fry is going to a predetermined location, he was, from the perspective of the writer, coming. So, come, Mr. Fry. Now, with that in place, it is the height of simplicity to deduce the next word. Can it be any other than soon? We insert the word voila! Don't be late, come soon. And there you have it, the solution to our petite enigma respectfully submitted.
First-rate work. I thank you.
Did you feel any sort of pressure, as playing Edgar Allan Poe, and also as your first day as a performer on the film?
Well, yeah, I think pressure maybe is not the right word. I just knew that I had to give Landor enough reasons to fall in love with Poe. You know, his ambition as a writer, all of that stuff had to be there, and I just knew that he should be fun, he should be smart, but also he should be awkward, he should be foolish. All those things should really live in this scene. And yes, there's a lot to achieve in terms of that range that you wrote, but it was really just taking it moment by moment by moment and just seeing what the day revealed. The first day working with Christian, I soon realised he's one of the most generous of actors, and just us being in that room, it felt very focused, it felt very free, and all the things you really need from a set in order to try and be somewhere that you need to be when you do a scene like this.
Just one thing. Did you have any luck with the first 2 lines?
Well, I was forced to declare them a loss.
Are you a good speller?
Oh, flawless. Judged so by no less an authority than the Reverend John Bransby of Stoke Newington.
So, I take it that you've never done what so many of us do, misspell similar sounding words. For example, there, and there.
A common solecism.
An invitation, indeed. Meet me there. Of course, we still don't know where to meet, do we? Something with NG trailing behind.
The landing. And might I add the cove by the landing.
Excellent choice. So, I'll be at the cove by the landing. Meet me there at, say, 11 p.m., something of that sort. Don't be late. Come see me. Might be closer to the line.
This scene, I remember saying to my longtime cinematographer, Masanobu Takenagi, I want it to feel like it was lit by a Dutch master. So if you imagine that it was Rembrandt who came in and lit this, all in candlelight, which would have been the source of light as well as fire, but that much of it is in darkness and in shadow, which really encapsulates Poe's work on a thematic level.
The things Massa was doing with the light was just extraordinary. I think I came up to you and said, how are they, how's he doing that? How's he achieving that? And he was like, oh, it's just a light, it's just a natural light. And I thought, wow, that's amazing.
Does this suggest anything to you?
Well, why would he meet a fellow cadet at the landing when you can meet him anywhere? Because it's not a cadet, but a woman. You knew the solution all along, Mr. Landor.
I had an idea.
Directorially, for me, I wanted the camera to be as invisible as possible and to shoot very classically so that I have the 2 of you in the frame, but then as we get much closer to you and you sit into this, that it's really about bringing the 2 of you closer together, because this is the central relationship in the film.
Well, if this is indeed a woman we seek, I believe I may be credited with the sighting of her. The morning after Leroy Fry's death, before I knew anything of what had passed, I awoke and began speaking the opening lines of a poem. Lines that speak of a mysterious woman in profound distress. Then, just outside the mess, appears the most beautiful creature I've ever had the pleasure of laying eyes on.
And in this particular moment, when you sit down and discuss with Landor that you were awakened,
Yes.
and you were compelled to write, and you have a vision of someone that turns out to be someone you fall in love with. Leah Marquis, played by the wonderful Lucy Boynton. That speaks to Poe being haunted by the death of his mother, Poe being transfixed with where life ends and death begins, and this notion of Leah and Leonore, someone that he wrote about quite often.
Absolutely. His muse.
Yes.
Yes.
Who was she?
I haven't the faintest.
But why do you believe that this poem or young woman are connected with Mr. Fry?
The air of concealed violence, unspeakable duress, an unknown woman.
You could have woken any morning and written this.
But I didn't write it. It was dictated.
Dictated. By whom?
My mother. she's dead. Dead nearly 20 years.
Beautiful. Well, the scene turned out better than I could have ever hoped when I was writing it. Not an easy scene to write. At the moment, I had Christian, of course, in mind to play this part. And then I was reminded as I was writing it of the Ballad of Buster Scruggs and your performance as the limbless performer. And I thought there was no one who can bring Poe to life better than Harry Melling. And as a director, it was really about let's get out of the way and let two performers at the top of their game do what they do best. And I think you beautifully captured, I think this scene certainly made that a reality. So thank you, man.
Oh, man, thanks so much. Thanks, Steve.